So today's agenda. Okay, one minute. So today we are going to see setting up single node Hadoop setup, single node Hadoop on AWS. Okay, and then basically we are going to see how to set up Ambari. It's very straightforward, but we are going to go into details later. Setting up Ambari and then choosing the stack and installation. Choosing stack, basically we are going to choose what kind of HDP stack. So I hope everyone understands HDP. HDP is a distribution of Hadoop. So distribution, again guys who are new, so Apache comes with your raw distribution, the raw distribution of Hadoop, Apache Hadoop. Now you have a CDH, that is a Cloudera, Cloud C stands for Cloudera distribution of Hadoop, CDH. You have a HDP where H is for Hortonworks development platform. Okay, so see here your C is your again your Cloudera, and here H stands for your Hortonworks. So what we are going to do here is we are going to set up a HDP using Ambari on our single node Hadoop setup, on our single node. Okay, and then we are going to see the directory structure. That's basically where all the things gets installed, and if I have to find out that where is a configuration file, where is a log file or whatever, so we need to understand how the directory structure looks like. And then we are going to spend some time on the important configurations, which you might, when you do it from Ambari, you might try to skip it because it takes automatically, but we need to understand what are the various important configurations. In this we are going to see the configurations like fs.default.name, dfs.datanode.data.dir, those stuff. So those some of the important property, dfs.replication, block size, and those stuff. And the fourth, if time permits, we are going to see the I think just it will take, well, let me see. So it will we are going to cover the shell commands. Okay, so basically we are going to cover HDFS shell commands, Hadoop distributed file system shell commands. So in this module we are going to see, in the shell commands we are going to see that how to perform operations on your Hadoop file system. But we need to understand what kind of file system we are talking about, right? So we'll see in detail today. So the last module, basically we have covered the introduction and the motivation, which basically talks about what is big data and how the why traditional applications are not able to scale up, and how a distributed framework and Hadoop being one of the solution to solve the big data problems. So first let us first do the let's understand what do we mean by a single node or a pseudo mode distributed setup. Okay, setup. Now here pseudo mode, I hope everybody understands when we talk about a node is nothing but it refers to a machine. So when you talk about a single node, here you specifically refers to a single machine. It could be a virtual machine, it could be a physical machine. So you're talking about setting up the Hadoop node, Hadoop cluster on, or a Hadoop setup on one single machine. That's your pseudo mode or a single node. And when you talk about multi-node, that means multiple physical machines or multiple virtual machines. So you are going to take multiple virtual machines or what multiple physical machines, and then you are going to set up Hadoop in this. Okay, so that becomes a distributed framework. It's a multi-node setup. So that's what we are going to do it here. So let us first, if you have taken the Amazon access and you have everything is proper, so you log into you log into Amazon console, and here I am logging with Tej Kumar. So here you can see your name. Here you can see the zone where you are allocated to, and then here you have a lot of services not required. Really, we are not interested to go into that details. What we need here is EC2 virtual servers in cloud. So this is what we're gonna look out for. So EC2. So we're gonna click on this, and then there are a lot of okay. So it can directly, okay, so here you have, as soon as you click on the EC2, you will see a launch instance. So to start using Amazon EC2, you want to launch a virtual server known as AMI, or Amazon EC2 instance, or Amazon machine instance. So here you're going to click on this. Okay, so choose an AMI. That's what Amazon machine image. So you can choose whatever, but we are going to use a Red Hat 7 or CentOS 7. Okay, so let us go here. So we are going to say Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.2. So once you do this, and it's a 64-bit, and remember that Apache Ambari works only on 64-bit, not on 32-bit. So you need to work with only 64-bit machines. So Apache Ambari, which we are going to use it for our Hadoop installation, so it works only on 64-bit, does not work on 32-bit. So don't try to make it work on 32-bit. Okay, so there are various flavors. You can drop down, I mean you can scroll down and you can find out, but that's our least interest. So what we're going to do, I'm going to select this. Here, once you have selected, it will ask you to choose an instance type, where it's your wish, whatever instance type you would like to go for. But remember that Hadoop, when starts, it has a lot of processes which runs. So go for M2.large. Here now M1.large they have removed. Now they have renamed it as M3.large, I believe, because that's also comes with the 7.5 GB, and you have a 2 cores, 2 virtual CPUs, memory GB, internal storage. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna M3.large. So I'm gonna select this, and you can click on this review and launch. So what we have taken is the M3.large machines, where this is your number of CPUs, this is the RAM, and this is the storage. And you select this and say review and launch.
32 SSD means how much space it will
have? I think storage selected 32 GB only, I believe.
Oh, it's already.
I think one.
So it says SSD. So it says SSD storage, actually SSD, right?
Yeah.
That all clouds use SSD. That's how it is.
You can have an EBS volume as well. Yeah.
So EBS is like a normal disk, or it's again
Yeah,
separate high performance?
EBS SSDs are much more faster than EBS, so you don't go for EBS.
Yeah.
Okay, so here your AMI details. Please, if your launch details, you can go back to edit changes, whatever, you can do that. You can read about this, and this is what we have taken. M3.large. Okay, we can here we need to download a couple of security group so that we can SSH later on. You. So this is the rules which they have selected. So I think that's fine. Review and launch. I think we need to download that, right?
We need to download the keeper.
Yeah. I think we have add the storage. Okay, storage is 10 gigabytes. Yeah. This is storage. Tag instance is not required. Configure security group is fine. Review and launch. Okay, and this is I acknowledge I have access. Choose an
Change that keeper.
which one?
You want to create new one or just
Create a new pair. Okay. And key pair name. Okay, we can click on the key here. Once you do a launch, it will ask you to just select an existing key pair. So you can always select a create a new pair, and then here you can give your key pair name. So let's say we give Hadoop demo. Okay, and let us download that key pair and keep safe with us, because with this download key pair, with this key pair only, we will be able to SSH it. Okay, so this is important. So you're gonna download this. Okay, so here it has downloaded. Here you can see that on my right corner. Once I do that, so this is the PEM file. Okay, so that's you have downloaded, and then you have to download. So you can always see this instructions. Please go through that. You have to download a private key file, and okay, so you will not be able to download the file again after it's created. So make sure it is safe. So you can always see the following instances have been initiated, and once it is done, it will give up. Okay, it will show up in the console that whether it has been launched or not. So launch initiation completed. You have a right click. So what is this? Okay, you can click on view instances, and then we'll create an image. So here, whatever we are transitioning EBS/storage gateway volume and snapshot IDs to a longer format. So this is what the notification. Let's okay, fine, leave it. So now it is running right now, and once it is, I think once it will say completed, so we'll see that initializing. Okay, so let it go. I think it will go for a couple of minutes, I believe. And here you have a public DNS name. You can see that here. So a couple of information regarding your EC2 instances. So this is how we are going to connect from our outside world. That means in our browser. So this is the public DNS name using which we are going to connect. And this is a okay, public IP, whatever. So this is a public DNS name which we want to have, which is important. They have changed this log or what? Previously we were able to create. Oh no, this create image. Yeah. So we can use this. After this is create image, we can use this AMI once and create an image and save it.
that will cost, right? Image also.
Image doesn't. The saving and no, stopping will not cost anything. It's running, so it will cost. Let's see how much this comes up, because I don't know. Yes, they have changed it a lot. Okay, so I think we can see the launch log. I think it has been launched successfully, I believe, by this time. It should show running. Okay, it's the status. Yeah, it's okay. Status check. That's fine. Let us do an SSH. So you can always download a putty, guys. So from your machine, if you want to log in, you need to have a putty. I think, do we need to have a AWS until unless we do a until unless I think we do a AWS explicit commands, we don't require the AWS tools, right? Right? AWS S3 LS if we are not required. So we can directly say putty, and then okay, we need to have a public DNS. So but before that, you need to provide, okay, let me just show you that you have already downloaded. So this is the PEM file which you have already downloaded, which we have created while which we have saved while creating our instance. So I'll keep it in a secure location. So let's say I'm going to keep it here in my new uh, okay, and now you have to download the putty, guys. Or so this is how, so you again click on the Google, say download putty, and then you can download that putty. So now the Amazon instances you have seen right here, the public DNS name. So we are going to SSH to this public DNS name, and then we can always give the IP address. Okay, and then authentication, you are going to provide these key pair files. So you're going to click on the auth, and then here private key for authentication. So you are going to browse it, and this, oh, okay, all file. So this is a PEM file. So you say open, and the server host K, yes. So login as EC2 user. Is it? Just 1 minute, guys.
Saying unable to use key file.
You need to convert to .ppk.
Is it right? No, it's you need to convert. So we can convert putty itself. Just 1 second.
Give the combination error now. Generation.
It's on ppk.
It's saying unable to use key file.
We need to convert it to .ppk.
it should convert it automatically. Putty. I don't think it's required. Does it requires this? Let me just say I have to control C, control V. id.rsa. No. No.
PK.
Will it recognize? And let's see. So I hope you have observed this, but just for the sake of recording, once you have installed this, what do you need to do was, so once you have see this launching and everything, what you need to do here is you need to do an SSH. So for that you require a putty and a putty gen as well for converting your PEM file to PPK file. Okay, converting PEM to your PPK, and then what you need to do, here, you need to provide your uh, DNS name and the IP address. So that's what we have done. So I've taken the DNS name, this being the DNS name of our instance, and the IP address. This is the DNS name, this is the IP address. So what we have done, so I have already saved it. So I'll say load, and then what you need to do, you need in the SSH, you need to click on the SSH and give your PPK file which we have converted, the PEM file which you have downloaded, converted to PPK file, and give it here. Come here, session, so that you again click on the save here, so that everything is saved. Now say open. So this will come up and log in as EC2-user, and now you have successfully signed into your console. You can click host name, you can say cat etc Red Hat release. So that's where you will tell that which version of Red Hat you are using. So this is your command, cat Red Hat release. So this is the Rail 7, and you can always say uname -a to see that what is it, the 32-bit or 64-bit. So the presence of x86-64, it tells you that you are working with 64-bit OS. If it is a i586 or i386, that means you are working with 32-bit OS. Okay, so that's done almost. I mean, we are now, we have to do a couple of steps. So once it is done, we can create an image, so that we will start working on that image, and then whenever we want to, we can reload that image. Okay, so actions, and you say image, and you can say click on create image. Okay, and here I can give my, so this is my instance ID. I can give my image name as, let's say, HTTP or Hadoop training or whatever. Hadoop training. Okay, I will say HTTP, and then we can say HTTP installation, whatever. Okay, so no reboot. We can click on the no reboot here, so that it does not reboot. So we can just stop it up. Okay, you can click on here. Okay, so when this option, the file says integrity on the created image cannot be guaranteed. That's okay. So we'll say no reboot. And if you have 10 GB, so right now for the 10 GB is fine, we can go with the 10 GB, but later I think we can increase it, right? I think we can, let's say 32 GB, we'll keep it a minimum. I think we can give it, right? Yeah. Create image, receive request, view pending image. It will, I think it has to do something. Okay. Let it create the image. So the status, once it is done, so it will take a couple of minutes to again do that installation, I mean creating the image. So if you are guys have not followed, so there is a quick link here, you can directly follow that link as well. So HDP on AWS, you can directly click on that, and that's the first link which comes. You can follow that, how to take up a virtual machine. So whatever we have done, I think similar kind of thing only. So how to deploy, you can just follow all the entire link. That's fine. Yep. So you can follow that, and so let's wait for that, for the AMI creation, and then once it is done, we can work on it. Okay, so let's let it go for a minute. So what we are going to do here is to do is to see how. Okay, it's still almost done. So we are going to install Ambaris on Rail 7. So we need to download the repositories and those stuff. So let me open up. Okay, this is. Let me pull up my that slides for Ambari setup. Okay. So this is what we want to do, guys. So let's. How do we do the setup? So since we have taken the and we are already did this prerequisite. Okay, so we are working with 64-bit CentOS 7, and this is basically these are for the virtual machine. If you are working with virtual machines, we are not. So now this is the network time protocol which we need to use it, and this is very important because anyways Ambari will also ask you to install the NTP if it is not present. Okay, so anyways it will ask you for that. So but still it's a mandatory thing that NTP must be installed, or a lot of other components depends like HBase or Kerberos, they might not work. So once that is there, we it's good to work with the fully qualified domain name, because after some point of time when you are configuring your Kerberos or any other stuff, Kerberos specifically, it requires a fully qualified domain name. So we have to, so we'll see that how to do that. So running the hostname command should give you the short name of your machine, and running the hostname -f should give you the fully qualified domain. So if it is different, so we will see that we can change it. Right now it does not matter. We will work with the same host name, whatever it is given to us. Okay. Okay, so Ambari, if you have observed, okay, the guys who are working with the have a previous experience with the Apache Hadoop, they might like Ambari or they might like Cloudera Manager, because all of this boilerplate work, when we do the installation of Apache Hadoop, it's taken care. So it's it gives you a GUI or a graphical user interface for end-to-end management and monitoring of Hadoop. You can manage configurations, you can monitor services, you can get alerts, it can be secured from the outsiders, and it can be integrated with the existing LDAP systems as well. So it's a very nice, I would say, user interface. Click, 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 and your installation is done. And very useful and very robust here. So Apache Ambari is still now, it's very robust for me. I mean the latest version, Ambari 2.1.0. This one, it's supposed to be stable now. So what we are going to do once our image is created, we are going to download the Ambari repo for our OS, and our OS is a CentOS 7 or Rail 7. Okay, it is basically CentOS 7. I will take it up. Let me see whether, since you are working with the Rails 7, so we will see whether the repository for the Rails 7 is available or not. Of course, it would be available. Only thing I need to just remove this CentOS 7 with the Rails 7, but still we will see that whether it's available or not. Okay, so let us see that repository, and so I can just Control C. I'll go to my browser and I'll say 7. Okay, so I think Ambari repo I can directly say.
MV command.
Oh,
Still it's CentOS.
I mean, you can directly search it. I just wanted to make sure, I mean, whether it's there or not. I think if it is not there, what we can do, I can quickly search Ambari repo for Rails 7. Okay, so this is where it gives me the, okay, it's the same, right? It's the same actually. So I can directly see, Control C. Now here, I hope, okay, this has been, okay. Load,
Will work on image or this one?
it's, so if you see here, no, this is already running, right? And this is what AMI name, source, platform. I think
Okay, it got converted into image.
yes. Now you can
The-
work. Now you can work on it. You can same thing actually. See here.
See instances. Did show instance also both or only?
It's where you're seeing instances. See, it's the same instance ID, I believe. This is AMI ID, and I think it's the same instance ID I632, which it has created. Yeah. If not, we'll see that then later. So, but that's of little interest right now. So, what was that? EC2-user. Okay, so the first command. So, what we're gonna do here is, so I hope guys, if you are comfortable with the Linux, so you should know where all things are present. The repository, the yum, right? So, cd etc yum dot repos.d, this is where your Ambari repo will now come up. Okay, because we are going to command whatever the command which we are going to run is this wget minus nv http whatever Ambari repo minus o etc yum.repos.dm ambari.repo. Basically what you are trying to do here is it will download and put into this location. Okay. So CentOS Rails 7 wget. Coming up, right? Okay, not a problem. If wget is not working, I can always create ambari.repo. Sudo pi ambari.repo. Okay. Now once it is done, so let me say yum repo list. Oh, I think we need to open up the security groups, right? Could not contain any serious load balancer, so I think we need to go to our instances and then we need to open up our security group so that it can communicate. Assign secure default VPC.
Assign default.
But launch wizard, right? This is yours, okay?
That is.
It should work, right? I think by default it should be 8080 port should be open, but if it is something like okay, let me just click here.
Need to change this code.
Yeah, customize the security groups here. Let's create security groups. We have done it, right? No. Yeah, create security groups, and then we have 653. There was an open port internal.
Didn't it SSH 20?
This is SSH anyways is working 22. This has changed little bit. It's really easy to and create security groups, which is our create security group. HTTP VPC. Okay, inbound add rule, custom TCP rule. No, I think you should take it up, right? Already cancelled. We have this default. Let us open that.
Check.
Open for SSH.
Outbound.
You need to add that also.
8060.
For remove, you go to instance. We have added both security groups. Default, select default.
Instances. Actions. Networking. Change security groups.
Okay. Remove this. Keep default.
Right. Now it should work. No. So let us see here security group default view rules. So all are opened. All source default security groups associated. Okay. I think it's closing everything every time. It's becoming tangled. I mean, it's not connecting. Bolo? Bolo? Restarting, huh? It's not connecting. I think it's running, but still here. outbound all ranges, inbound. What is the source? This is the source which you have created. No, this is security group name only, right?
I'm connecting.
Just 1 minute, guys. Not able to SSH also now. So here, okay, edit inbound roles.
IPQ0000. Then it accepts all.
Which one? Here, source.
Yeah. Source cast.
This is the command.
Or give 0.
Anywhere.
Yeah, that works.
And then we can have this also, right? Anywhere. Edit and traffic custom port range, any traffic. So this is basically a pure security. I mean, you no security at all.
No security. Yeah. Anyone can.
Yeah. Yeah. So EC2 hyphen user yum repo list. Repo is wget is the command is not working. Let me say sbin. It should ideally come up. It's not coming. User has been. First, let me say whether I'm able to ping the inbound traffic is working or not. Ping. It's working, right? Let me just whatever the repository is, guys. Let us see that whether it has been properly installed over there and yum.repos.d, and this is the Ambari repo. It's fine. Let me say yum install. I'm just checking whether it's working. Yum install. You need to be root to perform this operation. Okay, no problem. Yes, cd yum install ntp. That's your network. Okay, so it's starting installing the MTP. I think it should be there, but yes, it's. So I am the first doing yum install ntp. Now after installing the MTP, what I'm gonna do here is, now once you have installed the NTP, we can need to start the MTP. So service ntpd start. Sorry, sudo ntpd start. It should be okay. Control C. Sudo service ntpd start for starting your. Okay, now it's done. Sudo, it's the ntpd has started. We can always make sure. I mean, I'm not going to details of the commands here. What you are trying to do, you are starting the services and you are making sure whenever this machine is boot up, so it automatically should start up also on its own as a background service. So you need to say sudo check config ntpd on. Okay. Okay, now you need to install your Ambari server. So I'll say sudo yum, first and the foremost, see that whether repo list is coming up or not. So sudo yum repo list. So it should, if you, okay, I think it's okay. It's coming up Ambari 2.1.0 updates. This is fine. I wanted to see this, whether it has been updated on its own or not. So it's coming. Now you say sudo yum minus y. Minus y is for your yes, because you don't have to type yes every time, right? So you say yum minus y install Ambari hyphen server. So it started Ambari server. You can see that it will start downloading everything for us. So once it has been started, what we're going to do here, so let us go back to our training slides. So that's what we have done right now. We have downloaded the Ambari repo, kept inside our yum.repos.d. Then we have set yum-y install Ambari server, and then we are going to run this command Ambari server setup, which basically says installing Ambari data. It will install the Ambari database. It will ask you what version of JDK you are going to use. We are going to use JDK 8. Then we are going to customize the user account. We'll go with the default options right now. And then once that setup is done, we are going to say Ambari server start. Okay, Ambari server start, we will do it, and then we are going to log into our web page and see that Ambari UI is coming or not. So this being, so I'll come back again. So with credentials, if you see this, if you read the slides, you will automatically come, I mean, you will, it's very straightforward. So once you do this 8080 port, it will listen to 8080 port, and with credentials admin/admin, that is username is your admin, and your password is admin. Okay, it's done. Let me sudo Ambari server sudo very sorry setup. Okay, so we need to say sudo Ambari server setup. First we need to set up it. That's the first command. So I have already thought of starting it. So it says me that I'm exiting with code -1 because the Ambari database was not set, DB name property not set in config file. If this is a new setup, then run the command Ambari server setup. So we are going to first say everything go with the default. I'm going with the default. Why? Customize user account, no. Enter choice 1. So here you see that here it is asking you to install the JDK. So I'm going with 1.8, which I'm going to say enter choice as 1. Do you accept? Yes. It's downloading and it's installing the JDK in the location. You can always see user JDK 64. That's your JDK location. Java home. Enter advanced database configuration. I am not interested. Here you can customize your user accounts. The JCE policy is very important, guys. Keep in mind, anyone who is doing the Kerberos security, this JCE policy is very important. So after that, this JCE policy has to manually download it from the Oracle site, and it has to be updated again. Okay, it's an encryption policy. So we'll see that once once we want to do a Kerberos security. So go with the default, and that brings up your in a minute it will bring up your Ambari UI. Okay, so if you see the last command, it says Ambari server set up successfully. Now what we're going to do here is we are going to run our Ambari server daemon. Sudo Ambari server start. Okay, and it has started, and it will start, I mean, in a minute. So it is going to start, and that's the first, bringing up the Ambari UI. So once it is started, we are going to start up the our Ambari UI. Okay, now it has started or not, we gonna open up this our instance. Okay, so we can always say, okay, it will not work like this. We need to provide IP address. So let us take the IP address, or what I will do here, I will notepad. Where is my notepad? So I will put this IP address over there. Notepad run as administrator. Okay, and we need to provide the IP address first. So the IP address of my EMI is this. Control V, and then I'm gonna save it. Control S. So C drive, drivers. No, not C drive. C drive system. Yeah, Windows system 32 drivers and etc, and then we'll save it as a hosts file. No text document, save as all files, hosts file, right?
No, it is there.
Yeah.
It's there. You just started it.
Actually it will, yeah, that can be done. Yeah. This is, so now what I can do here, I can take up this host name which is already there, and that's your Ambari UI. The username being the admin and the admin, as username being admin and password admin. That's it. Your Ambari UI has came up. Yeah. The only hiccups is what we have observed is with respect to security groups. Right now we have made it as a default security groups. I mean, anyone can connect that, but we need to refine it. Make sure that you should refine it. Should not you should not be able to. You should not ask. I mean, you should not connect to everything, and you should not give any other IPs also to connect to your AMIs. So now you can see here, guys. Are you there? By the way, by any chance, are you there? Alive?
So
Yeah.
I'm here with a lot of questions.
No, actual thing comes from here. Before AWS questions,
Okay.
okay, tell me.
Yeah, mostly on the setup of the AWS, I believe if I go through the recording session, most of them will get solved. So
Yeah,
I'm not asking those.
yeah. I mean, that's okay. I mean, AWS is fine. Because it has been changed a lot, but it's okay. Go ahead and you can start the recording, and it will be clear. Now, this is where our actual area starts. Any other guys? Any other who is not able to follow me right now? Except that you will.
I have
Yeah.
okay. I have one question. Assume that if I am going with virtual machine instead of AWS, I can directly start with installing Apache Ambari, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No, if he wants to have a new virtual machine altogether, new ISO image, and then he does the installation, so he can just commit here. He can just directly say Ambari repo. He can directly say install the Ambari repo and then go ahead and do the installation. So install wizard. So you come up to this point and you say install wizard, wherein now here you can see on your left hand side a lot of options are there. Basically you have to go through one by one everything. Okay. Now cluster name should be, let's say, what should be a cluster name? Hadoop cluster, Hadoop test. Okay, it may not be Hadoop test. Let's say Hadoop test, whatever. Okay, next, select the stack. We are going to go with the latest stack. Advanced repository options, wherein you can always check. So which one? Red Hat 6, Red Hat 7. So it's Red Hat 7, right? So I can click on Red Hat 7 itself. So this is the 2.3 and 2 and utils. And remember that when there is no internet connection available, then we need to download these repositories. These two repositories which you are seeing here right now, they are connected via network. So it will incur a lot of network activities. But in real production systems, you might not have network on your machines. Then how do you configure your Hadoop cluster, or how do you configure your Ambari repo to work without network? So that's a different topic altogether, wherein we will see that how to create a local repositories and all. But right now they are connecting to your network.
So now it won't download all those.
It will download right now. Yeah. So next, after you selected, now host names. So this is my host name. So for the next step, it is asking you the host name, right? So I will say, what's my host name? Why it's hanging?
Session.
Session. Yeah, it's kind of disconnecting every time within a minute if no activity is being done. Yeah, no. Settings. EC2 user. Okay, and then I say if host name. So as I was telling you, host name will give you shorter name, and host name minus F will give you the bigger name. That is your fully qualified domain name. Okay, so in our case anyways it is the same. So also you can see this cat etc host, it should be mapped. So okay, that's fine. And what is our internal IP address? If config. This is our IP address if config. Okay, that's internal to our this machine. Okay, so this is our host name. So I'll take up this host name, come to here, and then I provide my host name. Yeah. Now, what you need to do, there are several ways of now doing this. Host providing your SSH key and all. So either you can give the same private key which I have used it, okay, or you can always go for this manual registration wherein it asks you to install the Ambari agent manually. Okay, the only advantage of going with this method is you don't have, whenever you add a new machine, you don't have to manually install the Ambari agent. Okay, or else you can go with this, wherein whenever a new machine gets added to your cluster, you have to do a Ambari agent installation manually. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going with this private SSH key. I will choose the same file. Where that's stored, AWS. I can this is the dirty one. I mean, which one? This was the dirty one, right? Which I have just copied it. PPK. Okay. It says it cannot. Can it does? Okay. Let me say. That's fine. It has failed. So let me check here. Permanently added, permission denied, SSH command. Okay. Back we can, that's user, that's what SSH user account. Sorry, EC2 hyphen user. Okay, it's creating, this is fine. I'll go with the manual registration. I am not going to waste much time here. Okay, if this is a manual registration, so if you have observed what it has asked me, if it is a manual registration, so by not using SSH to the target host, you must manually install and start the Ambari agent on each host in order to wizard the perform the necessary configurations of it. Okay, so we are not using SSH, we are going to manually install the Ambari agent. So we are not going to spend too much of a time on that. So what is this? So what we need to do here, we are going to say sudo yum -y install Ambari -agent. and then sudo service Ambari agent start. Okay, done.
So this we need to do it on
Each node. Or else if we need to see actually here what is the problem, I believe. If you see cd.ssh, I can create a key over here. Okay, I can create a ssh-keygen and then I can take up that key and need to download those keys and all those stuff. We'll not do that. What we are doing here, manual registration. Okay, registration and confirm. You must install Ambari agents on each host how you want to manage. On each host you want to manage before you proceed. Okay, it is going to register. You can see the status over here, and it's success. So if we have any warnings, then we are going to see. So you will have a list of warnings over here. So we are going to see if there are any warnings are coming. If any warnings, we will try to remove it if possible, or else we'll go with that. There are no warnings. I can go ahead. Next, choose services. I'm not going to choose a lot of services. So I'm just going to say HDFS, Yarn, MapReduce. I don't want Tej, Hive, HBase, Peg, Scoop, Uzi, Zookeeper, Falcon. That's your data governance tool. Real-time processing tool. This is your data ingestion tool. Flume, Accumulo, key value store, Ambari Matrix. Okay, it has to Atlas. Again, a data governance. Kafka. Knox is your perimeter security, machine learning, slider, Spark. I don't want any of those. So Ambari Matrix is fine. HDFS, Yarn, MapReduce. And it will ask if anything else is required. I believe Zookeeper will also, it will crypt for Zookeeper. Yeah. You did not select Zookeeper. We will automatically add Zookeeper. Is this okay? Yes, go ahead, boss. Assign masters. So let me just not do. I will explain you later all those stuff. Once your HDP cluster comes up, then we'll understand assign master, what is slaves and all. Right now only one machine, no problem. I say next. You can go with the next. Don't worry about this properties. I'm going to come again. Okay, whatever you're seeing, name node directories, just I will have a quick this thing so that you should understand, which I will stress more right now when I'm going to talk about important configurations, right? If you remember, I was talking about some directories, important directories. So this is one directory, this is another directory. Okay, name node, Java heap size, lot of stuff which you can install, and after that you can see later. You can always go and do the setting here from the advanced. Name node hosts, name node new generation, size, and a lot of things, interesting things you can go ahead and do that. You can have always the XML files which are there. You can always go with this XML files also. These are the XML, I mean, you can go and you can change the properties, add properties, whatever you want to do it. Okay, I'll go with the next option. MapReduce. Okay, these are the, again, you can click on the MapReduce, you can find out map memory, reduce memory, sort allocation, all these things will come up later. This is just right now we are just looking up that whether everything is properly, everything is set up properly or not. This is again very important. Container size, memory node, CPU allocation, these, whatever you're seeing, right, it's very important. Okay. Right now, okay, minimum container size, vcores. Okay, we are going to change them. So how many cores we have, depending on that, we are going to do all the settings. But later, Zookeeper, Ambari Matrix, everything. That's fine. I'm gonna say next. Okay. Everything is done, I believe. So I do have SMTP, no email notification, that's okay. MapReduce user, you can see the Yarn user, HDFS user, Zookeeper, Ambari metric user, Hadoop group, smoke test user, QA. Okay, and then you click on next. I'm not going to spend too much of our time right now. Okay, this is basically 10 recommendations. Okay, that's fine. I'm not interested right now for the 10 gig. We have given 32 GB. And then you can see here all this whatever we have just executed, and you can see all since there is only one machine, so this is fine. I mean, everything is installed on one machine. Don't worry about all these processes. I'm going to teach you in detail. Okay, so now say deploy. Why I want to do this right now, because after that I will be taking you through what all steps he has taken you through. Since you have done only click 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 behind the scenes and you didn't know what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, so we are going to understand each and every bit of it, that what happened. So that will clarify if anything goes wrong, how to debug. And don't forget to stop your instance once your job is done.
That's great, Swam. I was just thinking that how many hours I need to spend to understand all this. So we're going to go in detail. Thanks.
So it's going to take some time to install the all the things. So it depends.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just a quick question, maybe lame. Okay, so from what I understand, right, with this quick session, so basically right now we're trying to set up the cluster, Hadoop Autumn distribution Hadoop version on the cloud of the Amazon using the Ambari service. So if I just don't want the cloud, I can set up on the normal machine using the same setup with the Ambari and the other rest of the stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically Ambari serves both the ways. It doesn't care like it's on the cloud or on the premise.
Not really.
It's just a
different component.
Okay.
We are just taking a machine, because right now,
Right.
what is a machine? We have 7.5 gig RAM, right?
Yeah.
Not work. Actually, they should have a 16 GB RAM.
Okay, yeah, I remember you mentioning in the previous class. Yes.
Yeah. So 8 GB, it will the processes and everything, it will become very slow. And this ideally, this whatever you are seeing, right? I mean, if I don't know why it's coming slow, but ideally it should have been, because on the cloud the network should be proper, I believe.
But whatever we see
Right.
is moderate network. It's not high.
Okay, I think everything is. We'll see that how much it comes. Moderate we have chosen. No, on the rightmost column you are saying.
That network is moderate.
Moderate, I didn't know that. This is so much moderate. Okay. Okay. So meanwhile, so once it is done, you will come back again. So everything will be done by that time. I mean, once it is done, we'll come back. We'll go back again and we'll see that. So let's come back here and let us start what all things you have done it. Let us see. Okay. So we'll start in 5 minutes, guys. So we'll start in another 5 minutes and then we'll continue. Okay. So take a break of 5 minutes and then we'll start. Okay. So we have left it here. You see that here. So now everything has been installed. Go to next and then complete. And that completes your single node Hadoop setup using Ambari. But that's a very, I mean, just a it went very fast. So what I'm going to do now is to take you through what all things you have done behind the scenes when you are doing click, right? So we need to understand. So you click on HDFS. This is your quick links, say name node UI, and that's your HDFS which you are seeing over here. Don't worry, we are going to see more of this. Okay. Now coming back to your yarn. Go on quick links and say resource manager UI, and that brings up your RM or resource manager UI. Okay. Now let us go back and see what all things you have done. I think I was supposed to 10 to 12. Okay. Couple of instructions are outdated because this was specifically prepared for the virtual machines. So, but we have done the installation on the AMI. So you might see some little differences here and there, but the concept remains the same. So the installations. So skip this. Okay, Hadoop follows a master-slave model. Okay. Now that's where you might have observed assigned master machines. When you were doing the installation to Apache Ambari, you might have observed assigned master machine. Now remember that Hadoop follows a master-slave model. Now, so which means right now, which means you can have, okay, let us not confuse with the master slave model and master machines and the master processes. You have a concept of a machine getting act as a master machine. So you have a master machine. Okay, you have a machine can act as a master machine, and you have a master processes. Please understand, you have a name node, resource manager. I also want to put job tracker. Okay, so one should understand, when I'm writing a job tracker, it is a 1.x, and when I am writing a resource manager, it's a 2.x version of Hadoop. I hope guys are comfortable with the name when I write RM and JT. Does anyone have any confusion here?
No.
Yeah. Apart from Shivakant, Hemant.
Yeah, no, so we are good.
Okay. Now name node resource manager. So so these are the master processes. This is your master process. So this is your HDFS master processes, HDFS master process, and this is your MapReduce master process. So don't get confused with the master machine, wherein I'm talking about a machine which is acting as a master machine. And here you have a two master processes. Okay. Now Hadoop follows a master slave model, which means that when you're talking about machines, you can have one master machine, or you can have one machine acting as a master, and you can have a several machines which are acting as a slave. Okay, so that's a 1.x. That's what it is saying. Let us first clarify this. Hadoop follows a master-slave model, which basically means that a machine, one machine will be acting as a master, and several machines can be acting as a slaves. Okay, now you are talking about one machine only. So this is your multi-node scenario. Okay, multi-node scenario. You have one machine. So this machine is acting as my master, and all these machines are acting as my slaves. Now, right now we have done a single node. If you have everybody observed that we have taken a one instance and we did all our configuration, right? So, so this is single node. So in this single node, whenever you are working with single node, so that machine has, this machine act as a master. Also, this machine act as a slave. Okay. So single machine act both as a master as a slave. Now, before Hadoop 2.x, there was a concept of having only one master machine and several slave machines. But there was a problem. There was some problem. But in Hadoop 2.x, you have multiple machines acting as a masters. Okay. Now, let us rewind back and say that. And if you remember, I was talking about name node and the job tracker. So for the name node, remember that both these guys are the master processes, which are the single point of a contact, which we have understood last time, and we also understood what is a single point of a failure, right? So, and before Hadoop 1.x, in Hadoop 1.x, whenever you talk about Hadoop 1.x, there can be only one instance of the name node running, and there can be only one instance of the job tracker running at any given point of time. Are you guys following me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so in a Hadoop 1.x, you can have only one instance of name node running. You can have only one instance of job tracker running, which was a problem that if that instance of name node shuts down, then the entire cluster becomes inaccessible, or your HDFS becomes inaccessible if the name node goes down. If the job tracker goes down, again you will not be able to submit your MapReduce job. That was a problem, and that's why in Hadoop 2.x there was improvements. So you have a concept of HDFS HA, where HA stands for high availability. So in HDFS HA, you have mitigated the single point of a failure of a name node. Basically, now instead of running one name node, you can have multiple name nodes running, and that concept is known as HDFS HA. HA stands for high availability. Now in Hadoop 1.x, MapReduce framework, which was using a job tracker, was a problematic, because again we'll understand that later. But right now you need to understand there is only one instance of a job tracker which was running, and okay. Current పోయిందనుకుంటా. Stop the recording.